What up, though, man? It's James Vergado once again of God Level Genius, man. A couple of days ago, man, there was a unfortunate incident, man, with this guy by the name of Caleb Wilson. He died trying to cross, and they said he collapsed at Southern University, in the off-campus fraternity ritual. It's got the internet in an uproar. I don't really have much to say about the situation. I just kind of want to talk about um that I think there should be a lot of conversations had within these organizations, and households should have more conversations with children if they have the idea that they want to partake in pledging, because this isn't a race thing. This isn't an attack on these organizations. I just think there needs to be a lot of sound doctrine and dialogue with these conversations, because this has happened to white people, this has happened to black people, this has happened in you know secret societies where people pledge, and the organizations that's public and that's known, like the Divine Nine. There was a movie that a lot of people reference, entitled Burning Sands, that came out in like 2017 on Netflix, and the actual director um pledged, and he said it was just a movie to open the eyes and highlight um the lifestyle of being a part of these organizations. And he was saying, he left it to the consumer to decide, what was the message in the film. And he even stated that he loves his organization and he represents it, but in the movie, a lot of people that's a part of like Greek organizations, they wasn't fond of the film, so to speak. They thought it was distasteful and it was a bad representation of these organizations. But yet, year after year, there's always a story similar to what took place in the film. And in the film, the guy collapsed, and some friends dropped him off at a hospital at the end. And this is exactly what happened with Caleb. And rest in peace to Caleb Wilson, by the way. God bless his family. But I just think on both sides there's a lot of misinterpretation and misinformation, because if you're not a person that's crossed, or a person that's not part of the legacy, meaning like your family's a part of it, it's something you want to understand. And if you are on the other side and you've partaken in it, you can't expect people not to be off their rockers when people are dying trying to cross the burning sands. I saw a guy on social media that's a part of Divine Nine. He said, people need to stop speaking on it if you're not a part of it. And that's just insane to say, because I don't even think your organization will want you saying something like that with a person that's died behind this. I mean, at the end of the day, there was death. He's not coming back. This isn't a TV show where a character dies. This is a human life. And we don't know what his gift to this earth was going to be, because he was so young. We don't know what God's plan was with him. So to say something like that, I think was very distasteful. But I understand the emotion and the attack, because anybody that's crossed, people may look at you a little sideways and think, well, what did you do to somebody, when they were being initiated? But you got to understand the origin of things. And I just speak from what I would tell my son or my daughter. I would just tell them, like, you need to really be educated on what you're pursuing. You need to look up the origin. You have to understand you're taking the oath. And when you take an oath, that's a very serious matter. That's a very, you don't just take oaths loosely. And when you take an oath, it ain't no coming back from that. You can denounce all you want, and because there's people that's denounced from these organizations, and that conversation should make you wonder, like, what's taking place, as to why, these people denounced years later. It just creates conversation. Uh something apparently is very sinister with some of these people, what they're experiencing, and then other people, they're like, I don't know what these people be talking about. I don't know what they're going through because I didn't experience that. So maybe it's about who's on the line. Maybe it's about what school you go to, or maybe it's the organization that you're pledging. Maybe it's certain organizations you don't need to dive into because you're not that type of person, or maybe the type of person you are, you need to be very particular on what you pledge. And you have to understand, you're taking the oath with this, and you have to understand also there's legacy behind these letters. There's hundreds of years behind this stuff, and blood was shed, and um monuments and certain communities were shifted because of people a part of these organizations. So you just can't hop in because you like the colors, or you just can't hop in because, oh, my favorite actor was one, or my favorite athlete is one. Uh, you need to know what you're really getting yourself into. And by no means am I saying Caleb Wilson didn't know what he was getting himself into. That's not what I'm saying at all. Because from what I've read, his father is a part of the same organization, and he's in the Divine Nine, or Greek, whatever you call it. Like, that's what I read. And also, he's a high ranking police officer or something like that. So, but I'm saying to others, like, I think a lot of people are just misinformed. I think they watch movies, or I think they look at it for other things. Maybe it's an aesthetic, or maybe it's the oh, I know I'm a network with a bunch of people. You can still network and not have to join that. Like, you got the internet, or you could just go places and go to events and talk to people. But you really just, maybe you really don't know what you're getting yourself into, and I think that could be possibly what's transpiring. With a lot of these mishaps. And I remember when I was in college, someone I went to high school with, they said he couldn't handle the initiation, and his father had to step in. But it didn't go public because his father had rank, you know um in the fraternity. So he called out, some of the people on the line that was over him, and they got it situated. So it's always about who you know as well. But I just think, man, these type of stories, man, is so heartbreaking. But there has to be dialogue amongst both sides, man. Like, because a lot of times some of these kids, man, they so young, they ain't got a mind of their own, they don't have identity itself, and they just hopping in something and don't even know what they doing. And other people abuse power. People gonna always do that, no matter what. If you at a job, or any other entity, where there's a lot of power, people abuse power. So maybe, people got to figure out, like, who they allowing to be over other people. It's just so unfortunate. But everybody got their opinions, man. But all I have to say is, man, if you want to be a part of that, and um you're seeking to get involved, you should probably really do some research, and know your why, and also be extremely educated on what you're getting yourself into. Because rituals and things like that, that's ancient practices, and that go far beyond the inception of your life. So maybe you should know, what you're really getting yourself into, because other people are doing this because it's part of their legacy, man. Like, people be protecting a lot of things through joining this stuff because it's part of their family and all that. But you shouldn't just hop in just for popularity's sake. So that's just my 2 cents, man. Once again, rest in peace to Caleb Wilson and all the other victims that's died because of hazing or had critical medical issues. It's so unfortunate, man. If you made it this far to the video, I want to say thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the God Level Genius YouTube channel. I am James Vergato, and as always, be God level. The genius is in you. God level genius.